Alright, so for this chapter, which is chapter 5, we're gonna be creating a new listing page. So let's just get right into it. So for the new listing page, we need to follow the same process that we've been following before. So create like a URL, a view, and a template, but this time we're gonna add a form because the new listing page is gonna host a form that users will be able to submit. So let's do that. So let's go to urls.py. So go to listings, urls.py, and let's add the path to the new listing page. So I'm just gonna copy this and then just change this new listing. So once you do that, we go to, so you'll get like an error saying that you don't have this view. So we'll create that later. Let's create the form first. So go to listings and create a file called forms.py, and in that form we need the following imports. There. So we need to import forms so that we can start creating forms, and then we need the model that we're going to be working with. This case, the listings model. There we go. And after that, we'll just create the form. So class listing form, that's the name. And now we need to forms that model the form so that we can create the form. I think I can just copy paste this. So what's the model that we're using? In this case is we just have one right now, so listings. And then for the fields, so we could do something like this. We could do something like that. Just missing one here. And this would give us all the fields in the form, but we don't want all the fields. We just want certain fields, and that's because I think there is a field that has to do with the address. We don't want the address. It's too sensitive, so we don't want that right now. So that's why we're displaying only certain fields, I guess. So let me just copy paste and do that. So these are the fields that we want in the form. Let me go back here. So yes, so here it's an explanation of the imports, all of that. So we need to create a view. Go to views.py in the listings directory, and let's create a new view. Just make a comment here saying like, oh, this is the new listing. This is for the new listing page. Right, and then we create a function-based view as we've been doing before. So nothing new till this point. So for this part, so okay, so before we get here, let me just, I forgot to import we need this redirect. So we need to do that because we're gonna be redirecting users after they submit the form to a different page. And then we need to import the form that we're gonna be working with. Import listing form. Okay, so now let's create this view. So there is an explanation here of the view itself. You can read that, but here, so every time that, so when we go to the page, we're gonna, alright, so for this part, let's explain this first. So every time that users go to a website, in this case, if they go to this page, they're gonna be requesting data from the server first, and that's a GET request. So that's why we have. So what kind of request do we have here? It's gonna be a GET request. So you can do something like this and then GET. It would be the same thing. It would work. but we're gonna do it a little bit differently here. We'll just do it like that, saying like if it's not a post request, which is the same as saying if it's a get request. So if that's the case, display the form. So give users the form empty. So render the form empty here. So that's what's happening. So users go to the website, and it's not gonna be a post request because users are not submitting anything. So it's gonna be a get request because they're asking the server for data, in this case for the form, and the server is gonna render the form, and it's gonna be empty, of course. And once users start filling out the form, let me just finish typing here. So once users finish filling out the form, they have to submit the form. And if you want to submit the form, that's gonna be a post request. So that's why we have this other part of the condition, which is gonna say, the request is gonna be a post now. And we also need this part which says request.files, and you only use this when the form has if it has images. If you're submitting images, then you need to add this. So if you don't add this, the images won't be. I don't think the form will be submitted, or maybe it will, but the images won't be submitted. So if the form is valid, so we need to check if the form is valid. So we check that, and once we check that the form is valid, so that all the fields have been filled out and all of that, then we can save the form in the database. And after it's saved, we're gonna redirect users to the, in this case, to the all listings, not to the home page, but you can redirect them to the home page if you want to. In this case, we send them to the all listings page, which is the one that has all the listings, so that they can see the listing that they created. And then we need to pass the form to the template so that we can actually use it. And that's this last part here. Alright, so return, and then we need to render the template, right? So request. So again, if you want to read this, you can. It's an explanation of all the things that we're doing here. I'm trying to explain it, but maybe there's more information there. Context. We don't need this. Okay, so let's just go over this once again. So users are gonna request the page, the new listing page, and that's gonna be a get request. So if it's a get request, which it will always be, like the first time that users go to the page, we're gonna get the empty form. The empty form is gonna be rendered. So after users complete the form, they wanna submit the form. So in that case, it's gonna be a post request, which it says if it's not a get request, it will be a post request. And we're sending images, so that's why we need this part. So we check for the information. So if the information in the form is valid, then save the form in the database. And after it's saved, it's gonna redirect users to the all listings page. And we're passing the form so that we can actually use it in the template. That's what we're doing here, so that we can actually render the template. So more explanations here of the same thing that I just repeated. So let's go to the new listing template. So we need to create a template for the form. So go to templates, listings, and just create a new template called new listing.html. Here's the folder directory, how it should look like. I'm just gonna copy paste this part here. So this is what we have for the new listing.html template. So once again, this is just an explanation. So what we're doing here is, so this is just a title, the title tags, and then we need the form tags. And well, we need to actually, we're sending data to which URL. We're sending it to a new listing URL to this page. So that's why we need this part here. And then what's the method? It's a post, because it's a form that we're submitting, so it's a post. And then enc type, which is so we need this because we're submitting images, so we need this part here. If we were submitting a form and it was only text, then you don't need this part. And this is just a container form group. I mean, it's a div, and here we're passing this. So every time that we submit a form, we need to, that we're gonna submit a form, we need a token. This is a security measure, and it stands for cross-site request forgeries, or CSRF token, and that goes included with any post form, as you can see here. And then we're just displaying the form here, and what we're doing here is that as underscore p means as paragraphs, so display the form in paragraphs. So that's it. This is just a button to submit the form, and this is how the form should look like after we run the server here. So let me just quit this. Let me run the server again. Okay, and I'll just use this link. And there you go. Here you have the form, as you can see it. New listing. Let me just put it here. So title, condition. So let's create another listing. I think it's gonna have the same images, just because I don't have new images right now. But let's just create that. So we'll just use a different brand here, I guess. Cruise bike, or I don't know if that's a model. Probably not. Condition new. Maybe it's just parts, right? You want to ship it. What's the price? Something like that. And then, well, let's once again select. We'll just select something here. So we'll use these now. I think I already used these, but let's just use those. This one is not mandatory, but you can submit a. You can also submit it if you want to. So like have something there. But let's just use that, I guess. I don't know. Something like that. Contact email, admin 3 or 5, let's say. Alright, so now that we have completed the form, now we can submit it. So let's see if it works. And this should redirect us to the main page, and we should see the new form as well. I mean the new listing. And there we go. It works. So this is the new listing that we just submitted. As you can see it worked. This is not taking us to anything because it's not activated. But yeah, that's it for this chapter. Once again, I leave you the quiz there so that you can see it. So I'm covering it, but let me do it there. Then the challenge as well, which has to do with the form, and the answer sheet. For the next chapter, we're going to be working on the nav bar. So I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.